Okay, so performance stuff sounds good, and you definitely had the rhythms right at the 60 and 160. So, in case you missed some stuff here, when you work on these, we're doing a different approach here. I'm doing this with like everybody. So, you have the 10-minute time limit to work each of these up as fast as you can. Fast as you can. And you always go up in 5 beat per minute increments. So like 60, 65, 70, 75. And there are no repeat signs anymore. So it's something to pay attention to. Like if you don't see a repeat sign, then you do not do a repeat. Yes, we have been doing repeats in the past. Pretty much everything has been done with repeats. So it makes sense that you would assume that you do it. But you know, when reading music stuff, it's always very specific. So there are no repeat signs on any of these. So it's going to help with going as fast as you can, okay? So first thing I'm going to do is show you something to help you figure out rhythms a bit more easily. So moving the camera around here. That noise just was, but everything seems to be working still. So, alright. So, I got this printed out, and this is something I have done for difficult rhythms, something I've taught people to do before. So, if you can print it out, awesome. If you can, like, write on the screen with what you have, awesome as well. So, basically, what you do is you write out a full eighth note count. So, your smallest subdivision is an eighth note. That's why we're going to write out a full count of eighth notes. So remember, the full count of eighth notes is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Where you write this is important. You want to line up the count with where the count's going to be. So I'm going to show you what I mean. And basically, you get your quarter note here, so that's 1. Comes in on beat 1, so you put the 1 down there. And then you have the and next. Now you're not playing on that, but that's where it would be. Okay, so 1 quarter note is the 1 and. So you got your 2 eighth notes here. So you got your 2 and. See how I'm lining that up right underneath the chord? So here, the upbeat of 2 is tied to the downbeat of 3. So this is where you write your 3. Your upbeat of 3 here, so you put the and underneath that. There's your quarter note for the downbeat of 4, and because the quarter note fills up the entire beat, the and comes right after that. So at this point, what you do is underline the part of the rhythm you play on. So you go 1, 2, and 4. So number 1 here, the first new thing, this is a combination of the previous 4 rhythms that you had. So, same idea here. Starting on the 1, and there's the and. Upbeat of 1 is tied to the 2. Here's your upbeat of 2. Then you got your 2 quarter notes, so that would be, to not have this paper move. So there's your 3 and then your 4 and quarter note, quarter note. So again, you underline the part you play on. So 1 and 3, 4. Alright, so we'll come down here to the 3rd bar and starting on the 1 again. Quarter note, so you have the 1 and. Got the next quarter note again. It comes on with the downbeat of 2. So you get your 2 and in the middle here, in the middle of these 2 chords. And then next we got an eighth note, so that's still coming on the downbeat of 3. And then got the eighth note here, so that's where your and is. upbeat of 3 is tied to the downbeat of 4. So your 4 comes right under here. And then you have an 8th note being played, which is on the upbeat of 4. So you underline, again, what you play. 1, 2, 3, and. So this 8th note is tied to this 8th note. And this is beginning at this. This comes in at the start of the bar. So it has to be coming in on the 1. But this is tied to the downbeat of 1. So we're going to put the 1 down here because that's where it is. And then we have an 8th note. And now we have a quarter note. So we've got the 2 underneath that. And the and right after it. So again, it is in between these 2 chords here. So it's quarter note, so that takes up both of those 8th notes. Next quarter note is going to take up, again, the space of 2 8th notes. So you get your 3 right there. And then the and comes after it. And then we have 2 8th notes. So this is the downbeat of 4. And then you got your and right after that. And then again, underline the part that you play. And 2, 3, 4, and. So that's stuff you can do in order to make it much easier to figure out rhythms, understand them. Eventually, not writing them out is a good thing. Starting out, like when you really need the extra help in a difficult rhythm, definitely do that. Do it as much as you feel you need to. Oh, goodness. Try to get this camera back where it was. What's going on here? Let's try that. But yeah, you can also just write, even if you don't print it out, you just take a piece of paper, write out the full 8th note count, and then just underline the parts that you would be playing on as well. So, now that we've done that, let's get back to how things usually look. Whoop. Okay. Metronome ready. And here we go. 60 beats per minute. The new number 1. Every bar being different. And this is almost where it needs to be again. Alright. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. That is nasty sounding. Alright, here we go, for real this time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, and 4, 1, and 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, and 2, 3, 4, and done. See, no repeat. No repeat signs anywhere, so do not do a repeat. Alright. Twice as fast, 120. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, and 4, 1, and 4, 1, 2, 3, and 2, 3, 4, and done. Alright, let me try to turn this up a little bit. Very sensitive knob. You turn it just a little bit and it goes really loud. Alright, 160. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. One more at 200. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, number 2. So, new rhythm, and every bar is the same rhythm. So you have 2 downbeats you do not play on. So you can follow the same idea that was taught at the beginning of this video. You can write out all the full 8th note count and then underline the part that you play. So you'll be writing here your 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So that's where you would write everything. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then you underline the part you play, which would be the 1 and 4. Alright, here we go. 60 beats per minute. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 4. 1 and 4. 1 and 4. 1 and 4. Done. 120. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 4. 1 and 4. 1 and 4. 1 and 4. Done. 160. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 200. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. And last one. Rhythm stays the same the entire bar again. And I just realized I goofed this thing up. Good thing I haven't emailed it yet. Let's fix this real quick. This is what it's supposed to be. Yep. Okay. There we go. That's what it's supposed to be, and I better export the PDF one more time. Now that I've corrected it before I forget. Okay. Now we're in business. This is the actual rhythm it's supposed to be. So, again, you have 2 downbeats you do not play on. So, I'm not going to say which one it is this time. Take the information you got beginning of the video or throughout this video so far and see if you can figure it out. And when you're ready to test your knowledge here, double check, see if you got it right. Here we go. And remember, these speeds that I'm doing are just to give you various speeds to double check your work with. So make sure you can play along at 60 beats per minute. When you reach 120, come back to the video, make sure that you sound the same. If you reach 160, come back to the video, make sure it sounds the same. And if you get to 200, come back to the video, make sure that it sounds the same. Alright, here we go. So you always go up in 5s. Every practice session, always starting at 60, no repeats. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, and 1, 2, and 1, 2, and 1, 2, and done. 120. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, and 1, 2, and 1, 2, and 1, 2, and done. 160. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, and 200. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. Alright, so if any questions come up, please let me know, and I'll see you again Tuesday.